Well, if you're looking for someone to play the chicken, I'm available. Just putting it
Great.
out there.
I will.
I'll get my agent to talk to you.
to talk to you about that.
Hello, I'm Amanda Keller.
And I'm Anita McGregor.
And welcome to Double A Chattery. How are you going, Anita?
I'm doing really well. How are you doing, Amanda?
Very well. I want to ask you a very important question. I mean, you and I play Mexican dominoes.
Yes.
I learnt that from you.
In real life.
In real life. In real life. But do you play computer games?
No, not really. Like I'll do strategy games like Wordle or something. But no, I don't. Do you?
I'm the same as you. I will do Wordle. I'll do the mini crossword, strands. I'll do the New York Times kind of things, but not games necessarily.
No.
But my two sons play sports games. They play all the usual shoot 'em up kind of games. Interestingly, for the first time ever, we've hit an historic milestone in gaming. There are now more women gamers than men.
That's crazy.
It is. I was so surprised to hear this. Women are the majority of Australian gamers. 51% of gamers for the first time ever are women. This is in Australia. So I thought we could talk to a woman who's dominating the scene. She's one of the biggest names in Australian gaming, Clara Reeves. She's the head of Hipster Whale, who are the makers of Crossy Road in Australia, which is one of the biggest games ever made by an Australian company, and a game played a lot by women. So I thought she could give us some insights into how women play differently to men and what it means that women are now gaming more than men. Clara, hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, what a pleasure.
Yeah. So, Clara, given that you've just heard that maybe shamefully I'm not a gamer, sell me on your game. Tell me what it's about. Tell me why I'd want to play it especially as a woman.
Oh, gosh, I think that with our game, one of the appeals is that you can see it and instantly understand what to do and say, hey, give me a go. And the stakes are very low. You know, you'll jump across the road and you'll either make it or you won't. But I think if you see someone else playing it, and I think a lot of people probably encounter it when they see their kids play it, and then they'll say, hey, I definitely need to have a go at that, move over and I'll start playing too.
What does it look like, Clara? Is it to set the scene of what the game is?
Okay. You are a chicken and you are crossing the road and you must make it across the road, across the river, past the cars, or past whatever obstacles we've put in front of you. It's very humor based. So it's very bright. It's very abstract. So I think that's another part of it where we've had at this point like 500 million people have played our game. So it's an everyone game. It certainly doesn't have one demographic that is playing our game. But we know that families play it together a lot. And I think part of the global appeal and the everyone appeal is that it's really abstract. And so it's got a lot of ways that you can relate to it. It's not telling a particular story. You can sort of lay your own story on top of it, but it's also just very simple humor. So those things that are funny, no matter where you are or what age you are. So body humor is a lot of it. We all still do, have bodies. They never get unfunny. I think that's a lot of what is appealing about our game. It's simple, it's fast, you can have a go. If you want to get good at it, then it's going to challenge you, but to have a go, everyone's pretty bad at it the first time they play. So I think that lowers the barrier where people might feel intimidated to play as well.
And Clara, this is the important question. I have tried, like my husband games and my kids do gaming, and they have the little controller thing. And every time I try to use that, I end up looking at the sky and like turning in circles. Is it simple to use?
That's the other part. Can you tap a phone? Then you can play our game.
Okay.
it's
I
tap
can
to
do
go.
that.
Yeah. There's no difficulty barrier with physical controls either. Again, you can see what people are doing and think, I can try that. I can tap to make sure I avoid the obstacles. And I think if you're playing puzzle games, if you're playing Wordle and the New York Times games. It's interesting to me that you're saying, oh, I don't play games, but I play those, because those to me are just games. They're games, absolutely.
True.
They're a slightly different style of play, but they're very playful. They have an objective. You're working towards it. You've got to solve it. They're very, very much games.
Do these statistics that women are now playing games more than men are, were they surprising to you?
Not really. I think it's always been, well, for quite a while, it's been close. I think the fact that it sort of tipped over this year, and it's 51%, so it just tipped over. I think that there was an interesting stat in there that said the average gamer is the 30-year-old woman. I thought that was a lovely stat. It's not super surprising to me. I think that there's probably been a pretty big misunderstanding of who a gamer is and why gamers play and how they play. Certainly, as marketing has changed, as I think that game development publishers and companies, realize that they need to broaden their audience outside of sort of a hardcore focused on male teenager games, because even that's not who those gamers are anymore. They've grown up. I think that games is such a huge market. It's like, any entertainment industry, it's for everybody. People love being entertained. Women love being entertained. So it's not surprising to me that they love games, because that's what games are. They're entertainment. And for a long time, I think there was less that was offering a bridge and saying, "Hey, I'm for you," to women. But probably a lot of the content was actually for them. They just didn't know.
So,
So
yeah. So given that you are, I assume, kind of grew up gaming. Did you,
I
is like,
did.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
so the question, like, I guess I have, is that I would imagine that the industry was very male based, as was the
Yes.
usage very male based. How was it kind of that shift for you in thinking more, and I guess the industry's way of thinking more about moving towards female like games that would appeal to females, not female games, but games that would appeal to females.
Yeah, I definitely have, you know, observed this, watched it, and also been part of it over the last
Mm.
20 years. I've been making games. It is very different, particularly in the development side of things. When I joined, there were so few women. So few. I think when I joined, I was at a studio of nearly 100 people, and I was the only woman. There was one person who was on maternity leave at the time. And that, I think that would be very strange now. I think that would be very unusual. The studio that I run is, always roughly 50-50 women, men.
Mm.
Uh, yeah, so I think I'm going to come with some bias because I'm a maker of games. so I've got, my journey watching how it's been making games. And I think it's perhaps been more a journey of not excluding women rather than making games for women. A bit of both. There's certainly been studios that have really focused on, hey, this is a demographic that's being unserved. It's a big demographic, and they've got spending power as well. So why don't we actually make things that are made for them, and usually by them is how that works well. But a lot of it has just been, how about we don't exclude them at the front door? Because why are we doing that? It's bad business, if nothing else, right? To just cut out half the world's population before you've even started.
So does
So
that
I
mean
think there's been a waking up.
Does that
Yeah.
mean putting female protagonists in the games, or how do you make a game more attractive to women?
Oh gosh. Well, yeah, I think if we look back at some advertising in particular through the 80s, 90s, the advertising is really aimed at, teenage boys. And there aren't, it's just automatically going to be excluding a lot of other demographics if that's the only demographic that they advertise to, right? That's a very particular demographic, and it's got a very particular language. And if all of your marketing and everything that you put at the front of your game is talking only to that demographic, everyone else will say, yeah, probably not for me. So yeah, I mean, showing protagonists for sure, who now have more agency, showing things through their eyes, not at them. And just in marketing, just not doing things that are blatantly offensive to women, I think it's a pretty
Wow.
Low bar, but yeah, there we go. But
I'll trying to think if there's a particular example I could think of, not one popping to mind, but it's just more thoughtful.
Yeah. I'll name you my bias is that when my kids were teenagers and the games were starting to come out, and you're right that they were aimed at kind of my son's age group, and I had, my kids had a tough road to go and convince me that, playing, especially the violent games, wasn't problematic. As a forensic psychologist, I had some opinions on that. And it's, so I came into that whole, the whole approach to video gaming and to all those kinds of things quite negatively. And it has been interesting to see my own bias about how games are. And now seeing like some of when I, do happen to walk across when my husband's playing a video game or something, how beautiful some of them are and how amazing some of the storylines are. I think it's really
storytelling, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. It's just like if you think about the full gamut of what a film can be, some of them are disgusting, and that's what they're trying to be, and some of them are beautiful, and some of them are touching, and some of them are challenging. And games are just the same. Our medium's different. We have different ways that we're entertaining you, and different. I think because we put you right in things, I think there's a very strong ability to play with empathy. And to really put you in a situation that maybe you've never been in before. I think that's one of the strong powers of games, that when people first encounter that, is quite powerful. If you're not passive and sitting by, you're actually in a situation, and the world is looking at you right now to make a decision about something. We've got different levers we can pull to play with you when we entertain you. And entertainment is also so broad, right? Like there are whole organizations that really focus on games that are about social change or about teaching or education. So it's very broad. But yeah, absolutely. Games are everything. They're beautiful, they're horrible, they're everything in between. They're challenging, they help you relax, they get you amped up. It's the whole gamut. And if you think about how big the industry is, it's bigger than film and music combined. It's huge. So it's got space for all of that.
Do women?
I think that's. Oh, sorry.
Do women play games differently to men? Do women, even if you're playing the same game, do women approach it differently?
I do not think I have an answer for that, because I don't know. I think that in younger generations there's less difference. I think they've grown up with games. I think they've been told games are for them. I think in people my own age, I do see that hesitancy you just described of the controls in the way, or like you haven't grown up with the controller in your hand. So this barrier that's there. So I think that there's some of that that exists, and possibly not wanting to do the wrong thing. Whereas if you see younger generations jump into a game, they press every button, they try and do the wrong thing, they try and break the game, they try and see where the boundaries of it are and how they can play with this thing. And I think, most of the women my age weren't brought up with that as how you approach a video game. Just go in and break everything and see what happens. We're much more, much more fragile and like, I don't want to do the wrong thing. And often in games, the right thing to do is to go in and just play with it and see what you can do. And often finding where that boundary is where the real fun is. So that's possibly a difference I see. Just in my age group, though, I think when I watch my kids and their friends play, that doesn't really exist anymore.
You said that it's more popular and financially viable than music and movies put together. Is it frustrating that it's not necessarily recognised as such?
Yes, because I work in boards where we try and change that a bit and educate people about this. Um, I when I tell people that, no one's really surprised. I think when you see what's advertised on the side of a tram, what are the ads on TV for? Games is obviously huge. And if you think about things like puzzle games, mobile games, Wordle, that everyone's playing Wordle, they're everywhere, and some of them are light touch, some of them are huge, hundreds of millions of dollars investments that people are making. I think when people sort of sit down and think about it for a second, it does make sense. It's a massive industry. It's global. It's a way that people are social together as well. And that is definitely one way that women have embraced games, particularly the social element.
Do you mean playing online with others?
Yeah, with their kids, with their friends. It could be very light social. Like if you think about just prodding your friend and saying, "Can you beat me at Wordle?" Hey, I finished. I finished it. Did you?
Yeah.
And particularly within families, I know that that's a particular rivalry. Even just within married couples is like, don't take my Wordle spot. From very light social fun interactions, which is similar to board games that we all grew up with, through to deep online play where people might even make lifelong relationships if they're meeting people in really big epic adventures and things like that, where they're taking on role-playing roles. It's a huge part of a lot of people's social life, whether it's just prompting chat with friends or whether it's actually forming really deep relationships and hours of play each day with somebody.
So as the forensic psychologist, I'm going to jump in with a developer question, in that there's a dark side to the chat rooms. And is there, as a developer, is that something that you take into consideration when thinking about game development, about what kind of gatekeeping you may have around that?
Yeah, absolutely. We in our games don't really have a lot of it, because of the type of game that it is. But certainly, um, you have a lot of control over the type of social situation that you create. When you put forward something that is social, you actually have a fair amount of, not total control, but you certainly set up, the bounds and the rules, and you say, this is what we hope is going to go on here. So I think that there is an onus on developers to understand that and think about it.
Yeah.
And particularly, obviously, if you've got kids, then that's a whole different element, and making sure that people are in safe spaces for what age they are and who's interacting with them. There's so much work going into trying to make this better and safer.
That's great to hear. That is really great to
Yeah,
hear.
I know it's taken very seriously. And because there's so much positive as well. I think this is the conundrum with a lot of social media, right? It's so much positive, and then there's also the negative. So how do you manage that, and how do we treat it when it comes to people who aren't adults yet? It's very complicated. But yeah, I look at everyone that I know who's got chat in their games is very aware of it. There's a lot of ways to set up, either filtering so that you just don't have to worry about bad actors, or for women, like voice hiding, where you can chat, but it just you're not a woman anymore. That was an interesting one that came along. I will say, when online chat first came into competitive games, being a woman jumping in, even as a game developer, I didn't like it, because I was often the only woman there. And when people had, perhaps when this was all happening at first, people weren't very thoughtful about it, and there weren't a lot of safeties in place. And I'm talking 15 years ago. So you certainly could just get harassed. And So that was a barrier for a lot of women. They would look at that and go, no thanks. Or they would create their own group of like, hey, women only. So that, they could play together. Or I would often play with my brother and go, well, I'm going to, play with people who I know.
Yeah.
Because if they do that to me, I will just go find them and slap them.
That's right.
in real
You
life.
know what a brother's abuse is.
That's right.
Right. That's right. I can dish this back. Thanks. Yeah. So I don't feel that way anymore. I feel like I can quite happily jump into online games now, and it's not a big deal.
That's
that I'm a
reassuring.
female.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah.
Some of the biggest movies like Mario and etc. are games. Are you thinking of doing a
Yeah.
Crossy Road movie?
Um,
Anita and I are going to do a Wordle
No.
movie if you're interested.
Yeah. Do you want to pitch me some ideas?
10-part series. I can see it.
Yeah. Look, I think everyone is thinking, how do we take, what we've got to other places? How do we entertain, and how do we collaborate with other creators in other spaces? So yeah, anytime where we've had our brand or our IP go and be used in another space, we love it, because it's about our wheelhouse, right? So seeing what you've made go and be created by another set of creators is fantastic. So yeah, we love any time that happens. Like we had an arcade game, like an old, with in a games arcade with the buttons and everything. We've had one of those made by another studio, and that I love that when it's a physical thing, because we're so digital. It's like going and seeing something that's actually physical and it's there. That's yeah, it makes me happy every time I see it.
Well, if you're looking for someone to play the chicken, I'm available. Just putting it out there.
I will.
I'll get my agent to talk to you.
to talk to you about that.
It's been so interesting to talk to you, Clara.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for joining us. I'm going to go home and have a crack at it. I got involved with Angry Birds temporarily. I went mad on Angry Birds, and I can see that this will have a similar addictive appeal for me, so I might have a crack at it too.
Absolutely. Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. I'll try
Wonderful.
something new.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your time
Thank you,
today. It's
Clara.
been lovely. You and I love Mexican dominoes.
We
You've
do.
very patiently taught me and my family to play that. But my socials are filled with women of all ages playing mahjong. Have you heard of mahjong?
I've heard of it, and they have tiles, but they're different tiles than a domino tile.
Well,
Yes.
I remember my neighbours played it years and years ago when I was a kid, and I loved just the playing with the tiles. But I've asked ChatGPT to give me the instructions here, and I'll read those out for you.
Oh, please, Amanda, read the instructions to me.
Anita, you're a woman who taught me to play Mexican dominoes. You
True.
can sit there and be quiet and listen to instructions.
I will sit here quietly.
Here we
Okay.
go. Mahjong is a traditional Chinese tiled strategy game, usually 4 players. The goal is to be the first to complete a winning hand made up of sets like pungs, chows, kongs, plus 1 pair. You following? Each player begins with a hand of tiles and takes turns drawing and discarding tiles, blah, blah, blah. Tiles come in suits: bamboo, dots, characters, along with winds and dragons. You can be the winds, Anita. And players build their hands, blah, 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 blah. Mahjong! That's how you play it. Do you understand now?
I do understand, and completely entranced with the whole idea. I have no idea what you just said. Oh, you know that Charlie Brown movie where the teacher goes wah wah wah. That
that's
was
what you
kind of
heard.
That's where I was.
I once had a bracelet years ago made from Mahjong tiles. All I can think of when I see this is I'd like to get another one of those.
Oh, jewelry. It
Jewelry.
always
It always
down to
comes.
jewelry.
Well, obviously, Anita. Do you have a better glimmer than jewelry?
I don't know. Do you want to hear my glimmer?
Okay.
It's a milestone glimmer for me, in that tomorrow will be 20 years since I came to Australia.
20 years, is it?
20 years. Yep.
Fair dinkum. Say it.
Not with the oh God, not
Go
even.
on,
Do
go
not
on.
ask me to have an Australian accent, because it's abysmal.
When you go back to Canada, do people think you sound different now?
No, but they do think that my some of the things that I talk about. So I would say a sweater in Canada, but here it would be a jumper. And so now my language is kind of, if I'm talking to my family, I'll say sweater. If I'm talking to Australians, I'll say jumper. Like, so it's that kind of thing.
Mm.
So, but
And if you're
no,
talking to your family in Australia, what do you say?
that's a good question. Probably jumper now.
See, you've turned a corner.
Oh, you see, and it sends me that my son, my oldest son, who still lives in Sydney here, says tomato, tomato,
Tomato.
and I say tomato, and I'm like, didn't I teach you better than that? Did I not teach you better?
You say kookaburra. Say it for me as you say it.
Kookaburra. No,
Should we-
I don't even know how I say it.
Kookaburra. That's probably what you need. That's how I say it,
Yeah,
obviously. Kookaburra.
Kookaburra is, I think, how I
It's
say it.
burra. You say burra.
Burra,
Some vestiges are still hanging on.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I think part of it is I remember doing some training once where they said that your language accent is kind of set at about age 16. And when we came over, Connor was almost 16, Ben was 13, 14. And so Ben's accent is just all over the place because he was here for a few years and then in the UK and now back in Canada.
So when you say language, you mean accent?
Accent. And so, and Connor's accent is still quite Canadian, I think, but I think both of the boys sound very Canadian to me. But other
Fascinating.
people, yeah, what do you think? Like when you hear them talk, what do you think?
They still have slight accents.
Like
but,
Canadian accents.
Canadian accents.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, well, yes, when I think
Mm.
accent, Australians don't have an accent. So that's what I meant. We're neutral. Everyone else has an accent.
Sure.
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 How many syllables in the word sure? Like,
No, you just said shore, like by a
sure.
shore by the ocean
Yeah.
has a shore.
But
and a
how many
beach.
syllables do you think are in the word sure?
2.
We're going to have a fight, Anita. I'm going to throw a tomato at you.
Oh.
Well, as always, if there's anything that you would like to comment on, are you gamers? Have you watched gameplay change over the years? I just thought, what a fascinating chat. I loved, Anita, the question you asked Clara about, is it how are you going about creating safe spaces?
Yeah, I
Online.
think that's really important because it used to be, was there going to be violence? And now is like, is it safe in the chat? Are are you being able to kind of turn it off at the end of the day? Can you, still get your sleep and do all those kinds of things?
Step away from it. I used to walk
Step
past
away.
the room when my son, who's about 16 at the time, was playing a game. He loved putting on funny voices and playing a stranger, which led to him yelling abuse at people pretty much. And I'd walk past and say, "Stop it, please. You're a friggin' idiot." And I'd say, "Stop it, please." So part of that role play is pretending to be an aggressive person.
Yeah,
So anyway, that the other person was probably doing exactly the same.
probably. Yeah. I love the idea of gaming. I don't know. I think that if I had adolescent kids right now, I wouldn't allow them to multiplay unless it was with family or friends.
Yeah,
Like that would be my safety.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because
that
as
would-
Clara
yeah.
said, the abuse you get within a family,
You know,
You know your
absolutely. It's going to be
boundaries.
worse, but you're going to know.
You're
Yeah.
All right. Well, lots of love. We'll see you next time.
Love you too. Bye.